Yay.
Hey guys, this is our holiday episode of the Madison and Mountain View. We have a couple very festive things to talk about today. So without further ado, Gina, take it away.
Good morning, everybody. This is our last Madison and Mountain View before we take off for the holidays. So in that spirit, we thought we'd just share our opinions, thoughts, excitement around the holiday season and what technology means for families, for single people trying to hide presents, whatever it might be. I think kind of the first question on all our minds is it worth it? And as a serial ideator who comes up with a new invention almost every day, I actually had a new invention idea just 2 weeks ago for a holiday theme.
Oh, yeah.
Invention.
Yeah, you did.
I will share it with you here, but patent pending, patent pending, patent pending. I think that legally covers me. I wanted to create a blow-up Christmas tree skirt that would function as an airbag should your ornaments fall off the tree. I call it the bauble bouncer. And you know, when I shared this idea with a lot of friends and associates, they told me, well, what are you going to just sell it for a couple weeks a year? That's no business. It's a waste. You know, go focus on something else. And I think that's probably the biggest fear for a lot of entrepreneurs, investors, people thinking about the business potential of a holiday-focused product or piece of technology is that seasonality. But to them, I say, bah humbug. I think there's plenty of room for seasonal and specifically holiday-based technology and products. For one, I think the market would show that it's making money for someone. So Christmas seems to start earlier and earlier every year. And if you look at something, I think one of the best comparisons to make is something like the baby care industry, you know, specifically small babies, with only probably 4.5 million new babies born a year, new parents every year. They're spending a tremendous amount of money, and that industry is booming. That is a multi-billion dollar industry. And if you think that just happens, you know, for 4 million people less than once a year, they only have an infant for a couple of months, and there's dedicated infant products. And when you compare that to the entire nation, which pretty much celebrates
Except us Jews.
No, you cut me off. What I was going to say is the nation, which celebrates either one or the other, or a multitude of different holidays at least once a year. I think that kind of experiment its own would prove out that there is a market big enough to sustain an actual business or fund an actual product just focused on a seasonal holiday.
Well, I also wonder, is there a new business model where people have businesses that they're focused on for part of the year and then other ventures that they're doing? Because, I mean, you can have all the infrastructure set up and then just ramp up big time for the holidays, which I'm assuming these big Christmas companies that we're talking about, that's what they do.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing is, you know, some of these we just recently read about definitely feel like they're testing ground in terms of the holidays, but with a much broader and longer application. Things like the we'll wrap any package. No reason why that can't go on all year. Or a place to store presents, which one company was offering, you know, where you could hide your Christmas presents. They would find you hiding spots. There's probably ways that, one, sure, you might want to hide presents all year, but two, it's probably just a new model of storage for people throughout the year. So I think that's really interesting. The other thing I think people need to take into account around all of the holiday technology or holiday products is the psychology of buying around holiday. And I think, you know, a lot of apps specifically, you know, they can't get anyone to buy them for 99 cents. It's a massive psychological paywall that exists that just you can't get over that hump. But come things like holidays, or any real life stage or big occasion, psychologically we're willing to dig a lot deeper in our wallets and our purses. So, you know, I'm more willing to kind of just spend a little bit more frivolously when my heart's in that holiday spirit. So I think having that play into your business plan and your business model, even though it's an emotional trigger, is true and is not a bad thing to do. I wonder if a lot of these apps and these holiday-focused companies have what their business plans look like. I think that's the first step, probably recognizing that, all right, I'm just going to be seasonal. This is my market. I'm only going to go after these people, and it's going to be from November 1st through January 6th. That's it. And I think if you start there and you don't kid yourself, I think you could probably build a really strong business. We talked about baby care and how they've got an extremely limited market. There's things like cough drops. We've worked on the Halls brand before and talked to them about, just how seasonal. I mean, they don't even care about the summer. So I think there are big brands and big businesses that have become multi-million, billion-dollar businesses just based on seasonality. Some of my favorite holiday apps and technologies, I did have a design your own Christmas tree app last year, which I got very into, and I also had some little nieces and nephews and little kids around me that would be mesmerized by the Christmas tree, where you could kind of just very, simply swap on and swap off different decorations. I really liked that. I think a great case study is go elf yourself.
Yeah, I was just thinking of that.
So that was originally for a packaging.
I think it was for like Office Depot or something.
Office Depot.
Or Office Max, which I guess it's not good that we don't know which one it was. But.
Yeah. But that I don't know if that turned into, but if it didn't turn into, it certainly inspired companies like Jib Jab.
Yeah.
And now just the whole idea of elfing yourself. That was definitely one of my favorites.
We may have to do that later with our team.
Yeah, elf yourself. Yeah.
Look out for an elf yourself of evolution on our Twitter.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I like that. I see some of the other ones that we all were looking at this year were the custom Christmas tree delivery service.
Alpinely, yeah.
That sounds pretty interesting. Again, I think probably a testing ground for a model all around delivery.
Although, I mean, you could argue some of these big players like Uber and Lyft should just do that seasonally, and they're already doing that for a lot of different occasions and partnering with different companies to deliver and be on demand for different occasions or services. But we'll see how they do. I mean, those trees are huge, so they probably need a specific infrastructure to deliver some of them.
That's a good point. They could probably do a little apartment delivery service.
I just need a baby one. I'm on the hunt for a Christmas tree, but I can't fit anything big.
If we can find some technology.
Yeah.
I would like a Christmas tree augmented reality app that as you are walking around the Christmas tree tent or lot, you can kind of scan it and you can kind of pre-program what you like, and it will find, like, I like a big fatty, a big kind of squat fatty with, like, and sometimes it's hard to tell because they're kind of the branches.
Right.
Patent pending.
I was going to say, maybe that's a new feature for Alpinely because their whole deal is customization.
Yeah, I'm going to write them today. And I think, the other key is we at Evolution talk a lot about not finding our brands the silver bullet, not finding the next Facebook, and talking to entrepreneurs and founders about not trying to build the next life-changing, completely global platform, but instead focusing on something niche and doing something small really, really well. And I think that's what a lot of these holiday technologies play into. They're hyper-focused. They may not make somebody a billionaire, but they may make you a 100,000-aire, which I think is great. And it'd be really interesting to see what kind of brands play into these as well. I mean, if you think about it, you've got some even smaller, or I should say even less time-based occasions or shorter periods of time-based occasions that we're seeing technology developed for. So, for example, if you go to the Bonnaroo Festival, you ran the New York City Marathon, there are 1 day to several hour events that are created that people develop technology and specifically a lot of times applications just for that one specific event. And I think those things are valuable as it gets, as bandwidth is essentially free, as development costs get lower and it becomes easier and the whole development process is democratized. I think you're able to create these types of technologies faster and cheaper, and they complement and they enhance some of these small events. So if you think about holidays as probably stretching a bit longer than some of these events, I think it makes total sense. And it's also interesting to think about what the brand opportunities are for those. So I know a lot of these concerts will sell that entire app sponsorship to a brand. And your typical, your Budweiser, and you're typically just buying signage on the stage. If now you've got an app at Bonnaroo that helps you find your friends when you get lost in the crowd, or helps you cut the line if you've got a VIP upgrade by using the app to get a beer. That's incredibly valuable. And I think, a lot of brands worry that the cost is not worth the fact it's only going to be live for 4 hours. But consumers don't see it that way. They just have an experience, and however technology or a brand is helping to enhance and optimize that experience, they grow an affinity for.
Yep.
The same will work around holidays. And if you think about brands that maybe lend themselves to holidays, why aren't they creating holiday apps and Christmas tree apps and egg
chocolate? Yeah.
Sorry?
Chocolate brands.
Chocolate brands. Oreo should have a cookie balls app. Those cookie balls are amazing. If those of you who don't know about Oreo cookie balls, Google the recipe, go on Instagram, hashtag Oreo cookie balls. There are these really delicious, fun little smushed up Oreos into cute little balls, and they get into all sorts of trouble. But it's a really cool holiday-focused brand tie. And I think more brands should jump into it and throw a little,
and even like Starbucks, I mean, they're year-round, obviously, but they really get into the holiday spirit, and I think they kind of mark the beginning of the holiday season even now with their red cups, so getting involved somehow.
When the peppermint latte arrives, the holiday season. But it also, Joe wrote an article recently about, why every brand needs an app. And maybe this, if brands find themselves having occasions like sponsoring concerts, like holidays, like some spring break, very kind of small, seasonal, seemingly incremental opportunities to create apps and technology, maybe that's a sign that you might want to, put a stake in the ground and create a year-round app. To your point, what made me think of that is Starbucks. Now that they have the loyalty card in their app, they can kind of turn that into Christmas and turn that into Halloween, and they've got kind of staple on consumers' phones that maybe they're not, Starbucks they probably are going to every day, but even if you weren't, all it takes is an update and a push notification that something new and holiday focused is now on your device for someone to go take a peek, especially, like I said, if they're in that holiday spirit and psychologically they're just ready to throw every last piece of cash they have at something sparkly and green and that smells delicious.
What's on your holiday list this year, Gina?
Technology that I want?
Well, or anything. I mean,
well, I put for Santa got my list, and on it was an egg minder.
What's that?
It is an Internet of Things device that you sit your eggs in, and it tells you when you should eat your eggs and when you should not eat your eggs.
That's pretty cool.
So that's on my list, and I must say in terms of the shopping I've done, I did a lot of shopping on Quirky this year. I pretty much bought, I think, every product that they had to sell. Because there weren't a ton, I think, that they've mass-produced. There was only probably like 25, 30 products total I really found on Quirky to even buy, and I think I bought about 15 to 20 of them. So if you're getting a present from Gina, it was probably from Quirky. Really cool stuff, incredibly affordable. I got these little devices that you just smash into a lemon or a lime, and then you can just start squirting its juice.
Oh.
Yeah, I got about 10 of those. They were $1 each on Quirky.
Wow.
You heard it here. Great deal on the Quirky. Yeah, so excited for my egg minder, and definitely a good Quirky feature this year. What about you?
I don't know. I do think it's interesting, though, this year. I think we've hit kind of that mass for Internet of Things. You walk into the Apple Store now, and there's an entire wall of Internet of Things. So I think there will be a lot of people receiving.
Yeah, I got my parents. Oh, I shouldn't say in case they listen to this. That was close. You'll have to see, Mom and Dad, but it's an Internet of Things something. Awesome. Well, we're at 9:15, so we're going to take a hiatus now for the next 2 weeks. But we will be back in early January. So happy holidays. Go download your Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa app. And we look forward to seeing everyone in the new year.
Thanks so much, guys. Bye.
Yeah.